Hi, I'm Kenny. I'm founder and CEO of WeFarm.
Excellent. Welcome. Tell us a bit about your startup.
So we're WeFarm. We do internet for people without the internet. So there are 500 million small-scale farmers around the world that have no access to the internet. They're often very isolated, but they grow 70% of the world's food. With WeFarm, they can share and access vital information without leaving their farm, without spending any money, and most importantly, without having any access at all to the internet.
Brilliant idea.
Thank you.
Why are you here at South Summit today?
So we're at South Summit to do two things mainly. One is to meet investors and people that we might want to work with in the future. It's obviously a great networking opportunity. But first and foremost, we're pitching in the startup competition and really hoping to both get to know the other startups and obviously do really well ourselves.
In terms of strategy, what's your current focus at the startup? Where do you see yourself in a couple of years, maybe 2 to 3 years down the road?
Sure. So primarily we're a network business, so our strategy at the moment and for the next year is very much focused on growth rather than revenue. For us, we're just about to hit our 100,000th user, which is a major milestone for us, but our target for the next 18 months is to take that to 1 million. We're hopefully very close to finalizing our seed investment rounds, hopefully completing that just after we leave here, and that'll take us to 1 million users. We have very high engagement, so maintaining that through growth is key for us.
What's the culture at your startup? What sorts of values do you try to sort of infuse?
Sure. I mean, I think when you talk about values at startups, you tend to get caught in cliche a little bit. But we try to do, I think, a lot of the same things that everyone else does around transparency, empowering everyone to be a key part of the business. I think what's particularly important for us is that we work as a very small team across 3 or 4 different countries already. So we need to make sure that people's voices from different countries are heard equally. And just because you're in the field in Uganda doesn't make your opinion or voice any different to somebody in the office in London, which I think is very easy to lose track of.
From your personal experience, you're a startup founder. What piece of advice might you pass on to someone else who's trying to go down the same road?
I think go for it is the biggest piece of advice. Particularly for us, we're a social enterprise, and I think social enterprises tend to get pegged as small scale, need to focus very much on different sorts of things than a proper business. My experience has been very different. I think as a social business, embed the social mission and then just treat yourself like a business. I think most of the problems I see other social businesses in particular having is thinking too small, not taking on the same growth or investment that a business doing exactly the same thing who doesn't think of themselves as a social enterprise. So I think big.
Excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time, Ken.
Thank you very
It's
much.
a pleasure.